spinning wheel kicks, you get the point. But have you ever seen a knockout consisting of a full-out somersault that landed on an opponent's head? Only a handful of MMA fighters were actually able to successfully land a spectacular rolling thunder kick. For this video, we have compiled the list of instances where MMA fighters and kickboxers were able to execute the rolling thunder kick and brutally knock their opponents out or just do tons of damage. So without further ado, these are the craziest rolling thunder kick knockouts of all time. Number 12, Marek Lavrinovics. Marek Lavrinovics is a light heavyweight kickboxer and karateka. Though he isn't a big shot in the kickboxing world, this rolling thunder knockout he had on his opponent should have done the job. This 2013 bout between Marek and Rodrigue was pretty insane since before he had landed the beautiful rolling thunder kick, Lavrinovics was the one that started off on the losing side. Rodrigue got the first KO by landing a beautiful right hook that landed straight on the chin, but that wasn't enough to save him from this knockout. Number 11, Mikhail Balakirev. The fighter in the white helmet is Mikhail Balakirev. Maybe his opponent should have worn one. After watching this clip, you'll agree with me. Not only did he land one foot on the face of his opponent, but was able to land his second foot right after. The first one did some damage, but surprised the second one didn't knock the guy's whole jaw out. Number 10, Carl McNally. Shot at Clan Wars on a weekend in Belfast, it shows a brilliant close to a fight between Carl McNally and Ross McGoriston. This rolling thunder wasn't a complete knockout, but it was able to get Carl in a position to where he was able to execute a perfect armbar. McNally got a bit of space and jumped into a somersault kick that caught McGoriston right on the neck, stunning him. From there, the submission happened pretty quickly. Number 9, Davy Galan. Davy Galan beat former UFC lightweight Ross Pearson at Pro Bellum 1 in London with the acrobatic kick that left the announcers flummoxed.
Pearson with a bike. Oh shit! Oh my god! Goodness me! Oh wow!
With under a minute to go in the third and final round, Galan caught Pearson out of nowhere with a leaping back heel kick. The strike landed right on the top of Pearson's skull and he was knocked out cold. What makes Galan's move so devastating though is that Pearson ducked his head slightly right before impact and allowed Galan to hit him square on the skull. Number 8, Rodrigo Passos. The bout took place in September of 2019 in Curitiba, Brazil. This rolling thunder KO literally looked like it killed Rodrigo's opponent. The kick lands with confidence and knocks Rodrigo's opponent out cold, as Rodrigo already got up and walked away knowing he had won the fight. The knockout occurred with about a minute left in the third round. The funny thing about this knockout was how long it took for the referee to call off the fight. Number 7, Peter Graham. Come fight day, the aggression from the weigh-in had taken root and both fighters brought it to the ring. It was a close 3-rounder that, in his dying seconds, looked like it might go the Dutchman's way. Or so everyone thought.
킥 원아리. 원아리 주심이 맞았겠어요. 예. 못 일어납니다. 이거 못 일어나요. 경기 종료.
Until Peter pulled out his jumping spinning kick dubbed the Rolling Thunder. It caught Hari on the jaw and sent him off to sleep for so long his seconds had to carry him from the ring. Number 6, Takuya Saito. Not only was this Rolling Thunder entertaining, but the fight also had its moments, and when I say entertaining, I mean the fact that Takuya Saito landed about 5 nut shots on Japanese featherweight Kota Matsui.
Big overhand right.
This Rolling Thunder was beyond beautiful but was not a finisher. After the kick had landed, it had dropped Kota and made him very disoriented. This pretty much ended with Saito landing hammer fist and Kota surviving the last minute of the round. Number 5, Alex Felipe. Romanian kickboxer Alex Felipe had heard his name echo through the combat world that weekend after his unbelievable Rolling Thunder knockout of Roman Palomar at Super Combat's WGP.
So the explosive start to this fight had the pace taken out of it.
Felipe was competing in only his second kickboxing match, but his finish was something you would expect from a trained assassin. After a back and forth affair at the start of the fight, it seemed that Palomar and Philippe had settled into their rhythm by the end of the first round. However, seemingly out of nowhere, Philippe sent his name into the history books with his superb rolling thunder kick to Palomar. Number 4, Tenshin Nasukawa. Before taking his opponent down for good during the second round, Nasukawa took him down a first time just before the end of the first round with a magnificent rolling thunder head kick. Nasukawa, however, stunned his opponent by tweaking the move and instead used his inside leg, which landed flush on his target. Number 3, Jabbar Askarov. Jabbar Genghis Khan Askarov completed a hat-trick of wins over Enrique the Hurricane Kell. The man was even able to land a beautiful rolling thunder kick on the face of his opponent.
Champions. Oh, turning kick there. Jabbar Askarov.
He's got that pep back in his step. He's moving around nice and light on his feet. Oh!
Though this wasn't a fight-ending knockout, it was just beautiful. In the third and final period, the 33-year-old turned to his full striking arsenal. He unleashed 2 rolling thunder heel kicks and a series of spinning back fists to claim a third round stoppage victory. Number 2, Mariusz Zaromski. It wasn't that long ago that Mariusz Zaromski was one of the hottest names outside of the UFC. After bringing serious amounts of violence to the table as he head kicked his way through men like Hayato Sakurai and Jason Hai in Japan, Zaromski's found his way to Strikeforce where the hype train derailed a bit. But putting all that aside, he did land a beautiful rolling thunder kick KO on Bruno Carvalho at Rumble of the King 6. Carvalho couldn't even recover after getting hit with the rolling kick, and a few punches sealed the deal. The fight was called off the last second of the first round. Number 1 was of an identified fighter. There isn't much information on these fighters since it was an amateur fight in Russia, but this was also another beautiful rolling thunder kick that caused the fighter on the receiving end to go completely stiff. Many of y'all wouldn't like the fact that this fighter knocked his opponent out and decided to look over at his unconscious adversary before landing a loaded up punch right on the chin of his downed foe. Let's not get it twisted, the rolling thunder was sick, but he's still a print. We've seen this with Superman punches, flying knees, or off the cage strikes, but how common is it to see a flying kick being executed with success? Most fighters with backgrounds in karate, kempo, taekwondo, and many other Asian martial arts most likely have the flying kick in their arsenal. For this video, we have compiled the list of instances where MMA and Muay Thai fighters were able to knock their opponents out with an insane flying kick. So without further ado, these are the craziest flying kick knockouts ever seen. Number 11, Marcus Aurelio. That name might be familiar if you've seen this video. Former UFC fighter Marcus Aurelio landed a flying switch kick that floored his opponent and got him the victory via TKO.
And that was what they call an esse pachero. Whenever you see...
Oh, big switch kick!
Oh, that's it! This fight is over!
This insane knockout occurred in the first round of his BFL bout at BFL 10 against his opponent Jose Corneo. Just the fact that he got that high up in his jump but also was able to have enough power on it to destroy his opponent's orbital bone is impressive in itself. Number 10, Paige Van Zandt. It was Van Zandt's first fight since she lost to Rose Namajunas back in December of 2015, but this was definitely a spectacular return to the octagon.
And get more down to more traditional combinations that she's at.
She rocked her!
Period. Look at this. Boom. Fakes with the right, comes right over. Back.
10 seconds into the second round, the 22-year-old at the time landed a spectacular flying leg kick or switch kick which put Rawlings on the floor. Moments later, the referee stopped the fight. Number 9, Rukia Anpo. While the fans at the 27 K1 Grand Prix thought they were in the building to see some of the world's finest kickboxers, what they got was a deeply hit ball that resembled Hiroshi Mizumachi's head. The bout, which only lasted seconds of the second round, ended with Anpo leaping forward with a fake right kick and brought his baseball bat of a left shin crashing into Mizumachi's face, leaving the veteran fighter sprawled out on the canvas. Number 8, Jung Hyun Lee. This head kick was not a finisher, but the move seemed so outlandish that it was actually able to flee his opponent, causing him to be TKO'd a few seconds later.
두 선수 대단합니다. 프라이 이정현. 와우. 이정현 원투. 고동혁이 빠져나옵니다. 다시 프라이킥. 이정현 고동혁.
That KO started with the flying knee-like jab and haymakers till eventually one of those unorthodox strikes landed and was able to down his opponent. After it had landed, Ko was heavily disoriented till the referee stopped the fight a few seconds later. Number 7, Eve Edwards. In MMA competition, one mistake can cost you a fight, and Thompson's mistake opened the door for Edwards to throw a highly unusual jumping kick for one of the most devastating head kick knockout victories in UFC history.
Strong Josh is, he just stands right back up. Big head kick, down goes Thompson, it's over.
Overconfidence was Thompson's downfall in the match, believing that he was in control of the fight from the outset, which significantly boosted his self-belief and made him complacent, something he would pay for dearly soon after. Number 6, Pong. With only a few minutes in the second round, Pong flew right at his opponent to land a flying switch kick. Right as the kick was landing, Seychelles thought it was going to the head and ducked right into it. The ref didn't even count to 10 seconds and decided that Seychelles had already been through a lot, prompting the referee to stop the fight there. Number 5, Saenchai. This was the living legend at his best, flashy, elusive, and tricky. In this fight, Saenchai proved just how intelligently he uses his kicks. Against the much more inexperienced but larger Gilas Barash, it was only going to be a matter of time before Saenchai managed to land one of his trademark kicks.
ครับกำปั้นซ้ายไม่โดนขวาไม่ถึงเป็นมวยนะปาราซิโอ้โหดูครับดู
The kick caught Barash square on the chin and a little bit on the throat, which you can all imagine is quite painful. Number 4, Mamed Khalidov. Khalidov entered the fight on a 3-fight losing skid, the most recent loss coming to Ashram in December of 2019. But one brutal head kick later, Khalidov was once again champion and could have secured the knockout of the year for 2020.
Khalidowa nie udało się.
Khalidov stormed forward with a combination of punches in the opening moments of the fight, all of which missed Ashram, but with Ashram moving backward, Khalidov threw a jumping switch kick that saw his right foot land clean to the side of Ashram's head. Number 3, Jonathan Tuhu. Staunch top team Muay Thai kickboxing Jonathan Tuhu delivered a spinning roundhouse kick to his much taller opponent in Newcastle, Australia, chopping him down and knocking him out slow and cold. The details of the fight are a bit cloudy, but we do know is the shorter fighter Tuhu delivered the spinning kick to his much taller opponent in Newcastle, Australia. Aside from that, the only context you need is that this kick sent his opponent to another realm. Number 2, Yair Rodriguez. With one of the greatest knockout blows that fight fans of the UFC would see that year, featherweight contender Yair Rodriguez landed a flying head kick to the face of Andre Philly in round 2 to capture victory at UFC 197 that Saturday night.
Yair's just so oh, round kick, he got him. It's just like that. It is all over. Wow.
It marked Rodriguez's 4th UFC victory in as many attempts. Prior to the knockout, Team Alpha male standout Philly was surviving on the feet opposite a more experienced striker Rodriguez. But he was simply incapable of matching the versatility, dexterity, and creative output the 23-year-old Mexican possessed. Number 1, CM. Kickboxer CM Pech decimated opponent Rung Saenchai with a flying kick technique that Rung Saenchai was unable to block despite his best efforts. This was another moment when a fighter thought the kick was going to the midsection, but would wake up 5 minutes later to realize that wasn't quite the case. CM's shin would end up as a sandwich on the chin of Rung San Chai and would cause him to go completely unconscious. Honorable mention, we have Anthony Showtime Pettis' Showtime kick over Benson Henderson. This kick was not a knockout, but it was an insane kick that startled Ben, turning his legs into jello. But regardless, it would have been so wrong to leave him out of this video. And that right there concludes this video. Let us know how we did in the comments below.
Alright MMA fans, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, make sure to hit the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Also, don't forget to comment below what video you want to see next.
Now force speed can do the job, but one of the more beautiful strikes that we have seen an opponent throw is the uppercut. While there are some fighters who utilize the lead uppercut, MMA fighters as a whole generally look to use the uppercut in close range to provide maximum damage to their opponents. The impact of a precise upward moving fist in a human chin is devastating. But for real, watching a punch that can almost launch a fighter's head into orbit is definitely something you most likely won't forget seeing. For this video, we have compiled the list of instances where MMA fighters landed uppercuts with deadly power that somehow didn't murder their opponents. So without further ado, these are the most lethal uppercuts ever thrown. Number 11, Douglas Humberto. After the future FC6 event, Douglas Humberto borderline decapitated his opponent Paulino Cruz in the last few seconds of their fight. I mean seriously, look at Paulino's body turning into a ragdoll as soon as he got hit by the super heavyweight.
He has to knock out in order to win. Paulino Cruz is just like he's walking in the park. You know, he's just walking around the deck. A beautiful knockout! Beautiful overhand right by.
It honestly just shows the amount of power that these super heavyweights possess. That and also the fact that both of them were pretty much running on fumes the last few seconds of the round. This is like the Ong La Unsong uppercut when he was also winded and had a powerful uppercut that landed on his opponent's face. Number 10, Gary Goodridge. I don't think there's enough aspirin in the whole entire world to numb the pain Yatsu had felt after eating these uppercuts. After a little bit of clinching and attempted takedowns, the fight had resumed on the feet, where he landed half a dozen uppercuts before the fight was called off.
Hard low kick by Goodridge.
Oh! Uppercut. Huge uppercut. Oh! It's over. I can't see how this guy can take this punch. Oh my God.
After dozens of instances where the fight could have been stopped, the fight was stopped, giving Gary Goodridge the win. This snapped a 3-fight losing streak the Canadian fighter was dealing with. Trust me, in their rematch, there wouldn't be much of a difference. Number 9, Houston Alexander. Keith Jardine clearly did not respect the power and tenacity of Houston Alexander. Alexander was tagged with one right hand and Jardine attempted to swarm. But that would not be a good idea.
Jardine is in big trouble. Down he goes. And again with the right. And a knee.
Alexander reversed his movement, landed a punch, and then clinched. He then landed a barrage that started with strong overhand rights that wobbled the Dean of Mean, and a crushing right uppercut that sent Jardine down with his mouthguard streaking across the mat. Alexander made his UFC debut with fireworks like the 4th of July. Number 8, Michael McDonald. McDonald entered this bout with a 3-0 record in the UFC, knocking out late replacement Alex Soto at UFC 139. He picked up a $70,000 knockout of the night bonus for the finish. After watching this uppercut, you'll understand why.
Leg kick and he got rocked. He's covering up well, but he's up on the leg. McDonald trying to finish it, and it is all over.
Unfortunately for Soto, his first UFC fight lasted only 56 seconds as he found himself unconscious courtesy of an uppercut from McDonald. Number 7, Anthony Rumble Johnson. 13 seconds and 1 tooth. That is literally the summary of the bout between Glover Teixeira and Anthony Johnson at UFC 202. Anthony Johnson ended the fight with a brutal uppercut, with the first punch landing in the fight.
Glover put pressure on him right away. Interesting. Oh! Just like that! Good.
As Teixeira went down, one of his teeth went flying out of the octagon. Anthony Johnson again displayed his immaculate power in the bout, which is now embedded in the lore of mixed martial arts. Number 6, Nate Marquardt. Seeing the amount of knockout power that Tyron Woodley possesses, it was difficult for some fans to watch him be on the other side of that scenario. Nate Marquardt finished the fight with a few elbows followed up with 2 vicious uppercuts as Woodley fell to the floor and Marquardt claimed the vacant Strikeforce belt.
Nice move. Oh, that elbow hurt. What is that?
Marquardt sensed weakness and landed some brutal straights before pushing Woodley into the fence. Suddenly, Marquardt stunned Woodley with an overhand right, then took advantage and landed a brutal barrage of uppercuts that put Woodley down and out against the fence in spectacular fashion. Number 5. Mark Hunt. Hunt put away the notoriously durable Roy Nelson with a right uppercut at the 3-minute mark of the second round of their heavyweight bout.
Definitely improved.
You know, and it's been solid for a couple years now where, oh, that's it!
Oh my! It is all over!
Never done before!
Hunt by knockout!
The heavyweight fight featured back and forth action, which appeared to take a toll on Nelson's gas tank. He fell face first into the canvas after eating the right hand, and referee Leon Roberts immediately stopped it as Hunt raised his arms in celebration. Number 4. Daniel Cormier. Silva began backing up and Cormier again closed the distance with a quick stutter step to connect with a snapping left jab. He followed this with a short left hook once inside and then unloaded a huge right uppercut to the face that knocked Antonio Silva out cold.
With the right instead, 1:11 left in the first, the jab from Cormier. Uppercut, down goes Silva, Cormier has done it!
The world-class wrestler had no desire to follow Silva to the ground though, as he continued to bully his much bigger opponent and then waited for the referee to stand Silva up. After stuffing a few takedown attempts, Cormier blasted Silva with an uppercut. Silva dropped to the canvas and Cormier finished the fight with a hammer fist that was likely unnecessary. Number 3. The Korean Zombie. After more than 3 years away from the octagon, Chan Sung Jung returned to the UFC in style, scoring an opening round knockout of Dennis Bermudez in the UFC Fight Night Bermudez vs Korean Zombie main event in Houston, Texas.
Now Bermudez touches him. And you can see that left hand of Zombie's a little low. Oh, Chan Sung Jung knocks out Dennis Bermudez!
The Korean Zombie survived getting rocked early in the fight before delivering a spectacular uppercut to put Bermudez away. Follow-up ground strikes ended the fight, but the uppercut was the shot that did 99% of the damage. Number 2. Douglas Lima. This is known as one of the most satisfying knockouts ever seen in MMA. Michael Page could tell he had hurt Lima and began stalking forward, but as he did so, Lima landed a vicious low kick that took MVP off his feet, literally knocking Page's entire body horizontal to the floor.
Take advantage right now. Douglas he's not quite at 100%.
Oh, and there, what a shot by Lima! Mamma mia! Douglas Lima!
In his haste to regain his feet, Page left his chin exposed and Lima took that opportunity to hand MVP his first professional loss. Lima landed a savage uppercut that turned the lights out on Page before his body even hit the floor. Number 1. Brian Ortega. Ortega became the first ever fighter to stop Edgar. The 30-year-old's featherweight victory came via a first-round KO. It was a vicious uppercut which had Edgar on the deck with just over 15 seconds left in